not an action agenda.
Well,
Right, that's my
we don't have to
concern.
discuss the motion if there's no second for it. But if you're not going to allow the motion on the floor, then we can go on.
Well, I think we can
I
still.
think we've gone on long enough.
I think regardless, though, we can still instruct Michelle that this is what we feel we'd like her to follow up on. I mean, I actually think you have a very good point. If a parent is going to make a bus route change.
So is that
which
a second?
I don't know that I feel comfortable seconding an informational agenda item, but I do feel like this needs to be addressed.
I don't understand the photo ID, when and where and how. And
If a
I don't
parent is
understand.
making sort of like a Cory check, if you have a parent coming in that wants to volunteer in the school department, we require photo ID, for the Cory and all that, you have to come in and bring in your ID. This would be a similar, obviously, if you're
So
making.
every parent, Mike, you're suggesting that every parent that takes, that a child is left with at the bus stop, we have an ID of that person?
Change.
No,
I'll
a
second just for the
change.
sake of, we have to have a
Okay.
second. I'll second the motion.
He's
We can have
suggesting
discussion,
a
please.
change form. If you are making a bus change request, so your student is scheduled to ride bus 5, say, but you want for the rest of your year, your student on Wednesdays to ride bus 6. Right now, they can just send in a form with the student and sign it. We don't know who's filling out that form, or whatever, we really don't. I mean, we're assuming it's the parent, but we really don't know.
I'd like to
So-
speak on the motion if
Go
that's
ahead, Michael.
appropriate. Again, it's simple. It's my motion. It says, step 1 is any further change starting on Monday, we get a photo. And step 2 is certainly by December, after Christmas, we have photos of everyone involved in student transportation from K through 5.
I don't want to, how would the process work? So I want my child to get off at a different stop tomorrow. What do I do?
It can't be tomorrow because you need
Oh, the
24-hour
next day.
notice.
The next week. I want my child
Right.
dropped
So
off
next
somewhere
week-
else
So you
next
would
week.
basically fill out your change form, you'd go by the school, drop it off, ask them to make a copy of your license, they attach it to it, they send it, make a copy, and they send it forward to me.
If my understanding, if I may,
And can
You're
they give
saying-
it to the driver and he can,
Well, the other piece that I would add to that is have the driver have a sign-off on who are the adults that are allowed to take that child off the bus.
but
So
can I
They
ask,
keep
That's
that.
part of our
Well,
policy, isn't it?
our drivers do that on their own. They take, when they get the kids, they find out who is allowed to take the kids off the bus, so they keep, there's a policy for the school, who's allowed to pick up the children at school.
And we
But
check an
there is
ID at the
not.
school.
They check the ID at the
If
school.
someone comes in to pick up my son, they have to show an ID and they have to be on that list. So
Yes.
why aren't we carrying that forward to, the kid takes the bus now to another location, it's still our responsibility, and we're going to give them to anybody?
Yeah, it's the dropping off part. This doesn't address that. This motion
No,
doesn't
this is the
address
dropping off.
This is just a change.
Yeah, if you have a
This
change
is
to drop off.
my
at your-
kid off there, but
That's-
Tony, my kid's going to go to your house next week.
One at a time.
I want a picture of you on that form.
that's not what the motion.
That is, I think that's what his intent was in the
that's what I
motion.
wanted to know.
it's how it works. If that's, and
If we require it in the schools, I mean, that school bus is still part of the school
That's
district.
That's
up to you
Monday.
guys.
That's not-
Tell me what you do.
the bigger problem.
But is it feasible for us to do that?
Yep, that's fine, because then all the bus drivers walk, they have their little package, and if somebody different's picking up, they pull it out, they make sure that
Face
Joey
matches?
can
Bye,
go
Joey.
home with, can be dropped off to these two people. So he pulls it out, he's got a picture ID, he can match it with them and send him on its way.
Now, just to play devil's advocate here. Johnny has a play date Thursday,
He can't go for play dates.
next Thursday.
No, and there is no play dates. So there can
We're not
be
taxing.
no transporting children to friends' houses, there's not supposed to be.
Well, what's the change? How's that
The change is for
different?
babysitting and after daycare purposes or before school daycare purposes. There is no change that is supposed to occur if it is just for Joey to go play with Johnny after school on Tuesdays.
And we don't
We
think
are
that
a
half of
trans-
these, or most of these changes for that reason?
I have to go with the trust that families are doing this for. Most of them will put daycare purposes. Are any of these probably not that? Oh, I'm sure. But
All right, so next week I'm not going to be
unfortunately,
home.
I have to trust
All right.
that families, I mean, that, again, you're playing,
All right, so next week I'm going to be away, so I need my child
You're
to
going
get
on-
dropped off at the next stop at a friend's
right.
house,
You're
whatever.
going on vacation, you're going to be out of town.
So I don't have
You
any
need to
problem
go
with
here.
my form and my ID, but I have to go to
And make sure that,
I have to go to
we
my
have
neighbor.
the change form that has that picture ID attached.
Say, hey, Joe,
so
I
that
need,
we
I need
can
your
send it
photo
to-
ID
Correct,
so my son can get dropped.
right.
If you went to the
That's
school,
what
you'd
I-
have to have a photo ID to pick them up at the school, too.
Right.
I just want to be aware for parents that if, if
But
this motion
can I-
passes.
It'll cut down.
Can I take
Changes.
one at a time? Carolina?
So we're asking for anybody who was going to be at a bus stop. It's different going to the school where you have your wallet on you and you're showing the ID. Now, anybody at the bus stop has to go to the school and have a copy made of their ID so that they can be authorized to take the child off the bus? I think that's a little bit onerous, personally. I think it should be up to the parents. If the parents want to go through the process of establishing these requirements because they believe that they want these safety precautions in place for children that normally wouldn't have them in place, that's one thing. But to require all parents to do this, I think is a little bit onerous. I think your idea of doing a survey and asking people what they would be comfortable with, you've got 11,094 kids on the bus. I think that it would behoove us to find out what the community wants with regard to these safety precautions.
Michelle, do we have a photo ID of every parent whose child rides the bus now?
No,
No,
We don't even have that information.
no.
but they're the parent.
They're the parent.
Yeah, the
But
parent.
they're the parent. So
Well, I mean, typically, one parent's going to be dropping off their kid at another parent, more than likely. Not more, I don't know, maybe, sometimes. So if at least we had that, I could say, hey, Michelle, Johnny's getting dropped off at Joe's house. Joe, you got his ID and you got his...
But you don't know
But
Joe.
I'm not the one that's going to be, the bus drivers are the ones
No, I'm
that
saying,
are
but
going
the
to have
bus-
the
But the
ID.
driver doesn't know Joe. Bus driver doesn't know Joe, because you're at a community spot now. He's walking down the street, 5 houses, 6 houses down the street.
Oh, no, I'm
He's
saying
waiting
the
on bus to
school
look at
knows
you.
Joe, so they can put Joe on the bus, but then the bus driver still has to, bus driver doesn't know who Joe is.
Joe has to know who Joe is.
So that person's, so in his change form, he's going to have a photo ID of that
There's going to be a
person.
photo ID
And
coming
he'll say,
through
oh,
with
yeah,
every
that's
change
Tony
form.
Viveris. We'll drop him off.
Michael, can I?
I think it's putting a lot on the bus company, too.
Well, and now that will also delay timing in the process. So just, and I'm not saying safety takes over timing, I'm throwing out there every piece that needs to be thought about in doing it.
Can I just ask Michael that instead of doing anything on this today, we get for next week, a policy?
I heard about surveys in the community.
I
I've heard.
understand that. Can I just finish though? And then
Oh, I thought it was
I'll
a
give you,
question.
I am asking you a question. I'm just asking if we can,
The answer's no.
you wouldn't be willing to take this down as policy?
And I'll
Because
be
this
happy
is
to
an
explain
informational
it.
agenda item, and I don't feel comfortable with putting
There's
motions
no
on the table.
restriction on something that we've had emails for over 2 weeks now. It's gone public at public meetings.
Right.
This is not new information.
Much of
So-
the complaints, though, didn't seem to revolve around the
not
drop-off.
addressing
And the fact that we would change without having a photo ID is something that we've been told it can be done. I'm not asking to get to the point, as Mr. Viveris has asked about, is why don't we have a picture of everyone already on file? Any changes that are not the person on file, okay? The motion is asking for a photo ID starting on Monday, on any
Michelle,
change. I don't know if you're going to get 315 calls on Monday. I doubt it. You might get 4. And, you explain to the person that change requires you to get a copy, and the student takes it to the teacher the next day, or gives it to the bus driver, and it's on file.
Can I ask you a question?
If
I know-
safety is an administrative nightmare, then we're in big trouble.
I know when I fill out all my forms on my students, there's a spot for my children where it says who is authorized to pick up your child.
Correct.
Who looks at that?
Those come to me. Those aren't due into the offices till, I believe, September 15th is that date. By the time the office has had chance to funnel through all of their paperwork, get it to me, I'm not usually getting it till the end of September. I then take a copy of that, and then each bus driver gets that paperwork. So that paperwork also tells them who it is, but yet they don't have pictures to confirm that that person's name that's on there is that face that goes with that picture. So we do get them, and they do go to the bus drivers. They go to the bus, but they go to the bus drivers only for the bus for their home that they live at. So if Johnny has 3 addresses he goes that week, 2 days to CFC, 3 days to a grandmother, only the bus for his home address does that go to.
You're smacking me. I think you were first,
Look,
and then
as-
you raised your hand because you
Go ahead,
smacked me.
Eric, go
Did you
ahead,
want
Eric,
to
go
do that?
We have about 12 parents here, rough count. Quick parent survey. Are we allowed to ask them what their feeling on this is? We
Absolutely.
have 12 parents here right now.
I don't have
I'd
a
love to
problem
hear
with
from
that,
some
but
of
they
them.
are a small group of parents, but I don't have a
They're
problem
better
with
than
hearing
12
from
that
them.
weren't here.
That's true. A few of them left, I'm sorry.
And
that they
as they're
didn't-
coming up, I might add that
let them speak.
the parliamentary concern of it being on the informational agenda and not in the right spot, I don't make the agenda. I do know that passes muster under the emergency preamble that I referred to.
Thank you. Does anybody want to,
Quickly, look at.
hey, hang on.
Hi, it's Melissa Pacheco. I agree that it would be helpful to have an ID for someone who's making a change. So, for example, if I'm making a change for my daughter, if I go to school and I say, this is me, this is my license, I'm making a change, I think to have the bus driver identify someone would be too much. He has to make sure, he's doing so many things. The only thing is if it's someone different, maybe when the person gets there, they show the bus driver, yes, I'm Melissa Pacheco, who is
No,
supposed to be
I mean,
going there.
If it's
But
a
I don't think
change,
taking a picture and bringing a picture to the school, I mean, the bus driver's going to have to look at a photocopy, make sure that's the right person. That just seems, in my opinion, unreasonable. But I think if we had a policy about it that we implement next year, but to do something now, I think is also unreasonable.
Okay, thank you. Does anybody? Is there another parent that would like to address the motion that we're talking about as IDs? So just the ID part right now, come on up. Come up to the mic because we are on television and other people want to know what you have to say too. Thank you.
I agree with what she's saying, and if the bus company already has the names that we complete at the beginning of the school year, who is allowed to pick this child up, the bus driver should just be able to ask for ID. I don't see the point of making a photocopy of the ID and attaching it to it. He has the list of names, all he has to say is, can you please offer an ID? And
Okay.
the child should be able to go. And I do think it should be up until fourth grade, which would include all of the elementary children.
Thank you.
I think,
Tony had something and then Eric?
Yeah, I just, on this point, I coach soccer, baseball, whatever, during the year, young kids, older kids. When practice, some parents actually drop off the kids and leave. Some parents hang around for the hour and a half and watch the practice. But when practice is over, I always say to all the kids, and I would imagine the bus drivers, I would hope, hey, do you see, is your parent here? Because especially at the high school, on a Saturday, there's hundreds of kids, hundreds of parents. Game's over, you got 6 kids, 8 kids, they just take off. And obviously, I don't let them do that. Where's your parent, who's picking you up, show me, and then I let them go. So, if a bus driver's coming to a stop and 6 kids are getting off the bus, obviously, after a while, that bus driver's going to know who they are. But, I would think, if Johnny doesn't see his mommy, he shouldn't be walking off that bus. He should tell the bus driver, I don't see my mommy. And the bus driver will wait, and if nobody shows up, he'll take him back to school.
this is two totally separate issues. You guys are talking about changes that have been made at the beginning of the school year. You list A, B, C, and D who can pick up your child. I think what Mr. Sullivan is saying is, next week, I feel like my kid's going to go to somewhere different. It's the different person that's not on that list of parents that were pre-authorized at the beginning of the school year. This is someone totally different. That driver has no idea who that person is. That's the person that we want to see a photo ID of. Not grandmother who's on the list, aunt who's on the list, next door neighbor who's on the list. It's the person that's 6 houses away that's not anywhere near that list, that my child's going to be getting off all next week at that house.
Michael, can I get you to clarify one last time on exactly what your suggestion is? Who would the ID?
I would start with reading the motion, and I think I can clarify it from there.
I have down that Mr. Sullivan made a motion, any bus changes, to have a photo ID as of Monday, and by December, a photo ID for K through 5.
Is the bus, who is the photo ID of? Is this the photo ID of the person that would be picking the child up? Or is this the photo ID of the parent to requesting the bus change?
I don't know of the 351 changes, how many were these are new people that aren't pre-authorized to pick up my child. But again, if we go back to the beginning of my input, I don't know who the bus driver dropped my daughter off with when she was 5 years old in the woods up in the reservation. I do know I read books on some of the horrendous acts that went on up there. And here we had a Westport community bus driver drop a 5-year-old off in the woods. Now, I assume that there was someone there, okay? One assumes it wasn't,
That was
she
20
was not the,
That was 20 years, 20, how, that, I'm just for people watching, that didn't happen this last